Hey everyone, it's Shotzi for TheRoughCuts. I just shot this whole thing and it lied. It totally did not record. Anyway. Ah! Anyway, this week I'm doing a film that I hadn't planned on doing before, but several things are leading up to this. First off, my parents came to visit, and they brought a lot of things from my past I didn't realize they still had, such as this shirt. When I was younger, my dad had to work for very extended periods of time in Wuhan, China. So we had to go to Hong Kong to go visit him. So that's part of my growing up being in Hong Kong. And then, so that's instance number one, Hong Kong. Then, a group of my friends and I were talking about Bruce Lee, and there were some younger people with us. Not that young. They weren't like preteens or anything. I mean, they were in their 20s, and they had no idea who Bruce Lee was. And I felt offended. No pun intended with this film. And if you've seen it, you know the line. You all know the line. I was offended. I was really, really offended. They offended me. And how can you not know who Bruce Lee is? Seriously. If there was no Bruce Lee, martial arts cinema in the US would not be what it is today. And some people may think that's good, but, you know, he paved the way. He really did. For not only just martial arts cinema, but also martial arts in the US. He really paved the way. Bruce Lee. And then tonight, it's Thursday when I'm doing this. Well, right now it's like 7:30 in the morning on Friday, but I haven't gone to bed yet, so it's still Thursday for me. Enter the Dragon was on tonight. So, Enter the Dragon from 1971, directed by Robert Clouse, who also did a lot of other kung fu films in the 70s, including Game of Death, which was Bruce Lee's last film he didn't get to finish because he died at the age of 32. This film, Enter the Dragon, it was his last film that he completed prior to his death. And it's awesome. Robert Clouse also directed Black Belt Jones, starring Jim Kelly. He was also a principal in this film, as well as Golden Needles with Mr. Kelly. And interesting thing about Robert Clouse, he was completely deaf, so he had a lot of assistant directors who assisted him. Duh, that's why they're assistant directors. In his directing. That was totally redundant. Anyway, Bruce Lee is in this. He's great. He plays a guy, of course, who knows martial arts. He is hired by British intelligence to infiltrate this man named Han, who is a former Shaolin monk who has gone bad. They believe he has an opium business going on an island outside of Hong Kong. And so they want Bruce Lee to infiltrate this, find out what's going on, why these people are disappearing, why all of these young women are disappearing, and then later on being found dead from the island. So he has that reason, and then also his sister, he finds out from this old man, who I think might be his father. I'm not sure, I don't remember. But he finds out from him that his sister's death is due to Han. So he wants to avenge her death. Because, of course, Han offended him, he offended his family, and he offended the Shaolin Temple. So that's why he goes to this island for this international fight competition, martial arts competition that Han has every year. Then you have John Saxon, who was a teen heartthrob in the US. Movies Sandra Dee and all of the other, just teen idols of the day. He's in this, of course, much older, then he's no longer a teen, but he does have a martial arts background. And so in this, he is on the run from the mob because he owes them for his gambling debts. So he takes up Han on his invitation for the competition. Then you have Jim Kelly, who was 1971 international middleweight martial arts Yeah, karate champion. Ah! Anyway, so he's in this film playing the token, stereotypical black guy who, of course, has a run-in with the law, racist police. He gets into an altercation with them, steals her car, so he has to get out of the country so he doesn't go to jail. Although the alternative, you'll find out, he should have gone to jail instead. But he's in this. And so, and he plays like the womanizer. They always have the black guy who plays the womanizer. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, he dies. Because a black guy always dies. So I gave that away. Yes, he's dead. He's got the fro. He's gonna die. So, he's in this movie as well. And he, like I said before, or did I not? I said that in the last one. He was in Golden Needles, as well as Black Belt Jones, directed by Robert Clouse. So those are 3 principal characters. You also have a lot of other great martial artists of the day. You have Angela Mao, who plays the sister in this. And you have Bolo Young, the Beast from the East. He's in this. This was his breakthrough role in films. Then, of course, like, any of you who ever go on, like, IMDb trivia, of course, stuff everybody knows already about this film. Jackie Chan was in this. You know, Bruce Lee's character breaks his neck, and he's like, oh, promise, you'll be in my other films. Of course, he died, but Jackie Chan got to be famous anyway. So he plays one of the faceless minions in this film. You also have Sammo Hung, who's in the opening fight prior to the credits. He's in this as well. So you've got all of this talent. Bob Wall is also in this, who's American, Taisudo. I can't remember the name right now. But under Chuck Norris. He studied under Chuck Norris. He's in this as well, playing a gnarly bad guy. He's nasty, he's gross. Anyway, you get to see a lot of butt kicking in this. You've got Han, who's played by Qian Shi, who is just a master at Shaolin-style kung fu. He's awesome in this. Voiced by Key Luke, who was a big, actually, Hollywood film star in the 40s. And it's a great, great cast. One thing that you don't see on a lot of trivia sites, and I'm not really sure why, is that the fighting scene in the courtyard, when it's prisoners up against Han's minions, you can tell that a lot of it's choreographed, yes, but some of that fighting looks pretty real. That's because it was. Unbeknownst to casting, when they're looking for extras, they got a lot of rival gang members from the area, so they used this opportunity to settle some old scores. So that fighting that looked pretty real, it was. They were putting the smack down, and you can see it all on film for us to watch for posterity, all of these years later. So, this is a great film. Check it out. Check out the other films. You know, you've got the Hong Kong superstars out there. Check out their works. There's a whole lot out there. This was Bruce Lee's actually favorite film, according to his former wife. And this was kind of his baby. It was his first big budget Hollywood film. And it helped pave the way for other kung fu martial arts films that just kind of exploded in the 70s. This is a great one to watch. You get to hear his real voice. Also, the HD DVD that came out a few years ago, you should get that. You know, I realize Warner Brothers has put out a whole lot over the years, and you're just like, why do they keep doing this? The HD one, it really is worth getting. Check it out. Great cast, great sequences. You know, Angela Mao, her, like, chase and fight sequence is awesome. Also, who else wanted to see, and, like, okay, the final fight sequence, you know that it was influenced by Lady from Shanghai, even though they say it wasn't. I'm convinced it was. And yeah, the story is kind of thin. Obviously, it was influenced by Dr. No, but it's definitely one to check out. Definitely. And who else wanted to see, like, the guy grab, like, the little tiny skeleton hand? I really wanted to see that. I really, really did. This little skeleton hand. didn't happen, but I would have loved that. Said, goes for the claw! That was for you, Adam. I will see you next week. Bye!